focused, and
we're so excited to share this with you, because this is a part of our cooperation, with Bob, because we had joined one of his programs, and this was one of the things we got. And so we are very excited that he was willing to come on and talk with all of you tonight, because he really has had such an impact on us and our business.
Some of you may know of Bob. He was actually one of our the keynote speaker at the 2019 Paw Fest.
Yeah. So without welcome, Bob.
We're
so happy you're here.
Bob.
Well, thank you. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Trisha, for hosting me tonight. 2019. Why does that feel like a lifetime ago? That was before the world shut down. Wow. So, well, hey everybody. So I'm curious, how many of you are we meeting for the first time this evening? I'd love to know if this is any of your first time getting a chance to familiarize yourself with what we teach, our training. If so, just drop a yes in the chat, or let me know. Okay, cool. Awesome. How many of you were around for the 2019 Paw Fest? Let me know if we have some 2019 people. Cool. Awesome. Well, I certainly had a blast speaking at the event, and lots changed in the world since 2019. And my hope is that, long time coming, having me have an opportunity to chat with all of you again. My hope is tonight that I can give you some actionable advice, some things that you can start focusing on, maybe some things to start doing a little different in your business to try to help you make 2024 a successful year. How many of you here are excited? Be honest. How many of you are excited 2023 is over? That you could turn the page on 2023, right? Yeah. Amen to that. That you would not be alone in sharing that sentiment. In our business. So the name of our company is called Your Virtual Upline, for those of you that are new or not familiar with us. And we have a podcast called the Your Virtual Upline podcast. So definitely, if you're into podcasts, would love it if you would check us out. I just recorded our 410th episode. So we've been teaching and serving over there for quite some time. And it's probably one of my favorite things that I do is creating those episodes. And we have a program. Mike and Kathy are a part of it. I don't know if we have any other LSG people here, but we have a program called Love, Serve, Grow. And I mentioned that to you starting out because those three words are going to be a really important part of what we're going to talk about tonight. Love, service, and growth are the three core values that define pretty much everything we do in our business. They're the values that we operate from internally in our company, and they define the philosophy that we teach. We have a very different perspective on what it takes to be successful in a direct selling, network marketing, social selling business, call it what you want. We have a very different philosophy. And for those of you that are new and hearing me speak for the first time, it'll probably make a lot of sense to you why we're here, because I think you'll find that a lot of the values that your company stands for and kind of the purpose behind the work that you all do will align pretty well with kind of the mission of the work that we do and why we do what we do. To put it simply, where Love, Serve, Grow is different is I believe, I've always felt this way. I spent over 10 years as a consultant in this industry before I started the training company. I've always been someone, and I'm curious how many of you feel the same way. I've always wanted to make money, don't get me wrong. But when I was first introduced to this profession, this business model, I saw something a lot bigger for myself than just making a lot of money. Yes, money was part of it, but I could remember feeling called to doing something bigger in my life and always having this kind of dream in my heart and this just burning something in my stomach. I just always felt like, God had bigger plans for my life, and I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I got introduced to this profession, and I just fell in love with the idea of being able to share a product that could transform other people's lives and to be able to serve people in the capacity that we can through the things that we do in our leadership. And I love the idea of being able to get paid for helping others. And so that was kind of the start of my journey. I was introduced inside of a company where my values did not align with the companies and the leadership that was teaching me the way to build a business. It was all about money and show success and fake it till you make it. And I really fought against that. And so I mention that only because there is a lot of that in our profession today. But I think all of you should feel really grateful and fortunate that you're in a company that doesn't have that, and that you're in a company that gets it, that really understands that, that we're in, this business is really a vehicle for something more, and you've got the leadership to guide you in that direction. So just to validate, like, you're lucky, you're in a good place. But I start off sharing that because if you are somebody that those three words, if they resonate with you, I'm going to be presenting to you a different way to build your business. Love, service, and growth. They're very nice words. They sound great. I don't think there's anybody here that would push back on the fact that, yes, if we could love and serve and grow, that would probably be good for us. But here's the disconnect for most of us. Here's where we struggle, is I don't think many people really understand what those three words look like in action in your business every single day. And so what we do is we actually teach people a way of building a business that we call transformational. And so starting off here tonight, I think this is an important discussion because over the last 12 to 18 months, what I have witnessed, we work with pretty much any company you can think of, you name it. We've got people that we work with in that company. I've seen pretty consistently across the board, I've seen people really struggling big time over the last 12 to 18 months. Last year especially, it was even highlighted even more so. A lot of the leaders that we work with, top earners, very big businesses, saw 50% decreases, 60% decreases, 70% decreases, some of them in their team, like really, really big decline. And this is not something that was, company specific. You name it, most companies, if you were in a company that didn't go backwards, that was a major win. And it was actually pretty rare. Some companies plateaued, that was a win. I would say, I think your company probably would be on the upper tier of companies that, performed last year. But here's the big thing. You can look at any company that's struggling. There's always going to be examples of people in that company that did really well. And so what I really have made kind of a mission of mine is to look at how things have changed over the last 3 years and identify the people that are still seeing success, and then find out what are they doing different than most other people. And so what I'm going to be teaching you tonight is I'm going to be teaching you one of the biggest things that the most successful people in our profession today, people that are actually building a thriving business today, I'm going to teach you one of the things that they're doing very different, and it's their approach to social media. And so we're going to be talking about social media, and I'm going to be giving you just a handful of very tactical things that I think you need to be doing different. And then we're going to talk a little bit about really the proper role for social media in your business and how we need to start to be positioning it in a slightly different way. Does that sound fair enough? Can we dive into that as a topic? I'm curious, anybody here finding social media a little bit more challenging today than it's been for you over the last couple of years? Yeah, okay. So you certainly would not be alone in that. I'm going to tell you what's happened with social media. It's pretty simple, really. During 2020 and 2021, during COVID, it was actually not very hard to build a business in this space. And I don't say that to diminish any of you that may have been around in 2020 and 2021, and maybe you didn't see success, right? But the truth of the matter is this. If you were consistent and you just talked about your stuff and you posted every day, your business grew in 2020 and 2021. Here's why. Because people had nothing to do. They had absolutely nothing to do. and they had a lot of disposable income because they couldn't go anywhere and spend it anywhere. And, God forbid, I've got 2 young boys. I've got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. And so, I had a son that was born in February of 2020, right? Right before the world shut down. And so you talk to any parent, right? And a lot of the people that we do business with, their parents. I mean, I would have done, thank God I had this business, but if I would have done anything to just not have to think about my kids for an hour or 2 a day, right? And so we had these perfect circumstances coming together that played right into what we do. And so what I saw pretty consistently is we saw people that had this extreme growth for 12 months, 18 months, and then all of a sudden things started to shift. The world started to open back up. We got back to what is now the new normal. And then the economy began to contract. People started to be a little bit more mindful about where they spent their money, be worried a little bit more about their economic future. And all of these things started to really impact our profession. A lot of the people that joined your team during 2020 and 2021, they left. Now, you can look at them leaving one of 2 ways. You can make it mean something less about you, that you did something wrong as a leader. This is what most people are doing today in this profession, by the way. They're beating themselves up, constantly comparing where their business is today to where they were a year or 2 ago, creating a story that, you should have done something different, you could have done something different. So you can make it mean something less about you that people have left, or you can make it mean this, which I actually believe this is really the truth. They weren't willing to do the work. They did it when it was easy and it was convenient and it made sense for them in their life. But then the second that things got harder and they realized, oh, so this is an actual business and I have to work on myself and I have to acquire skills, and it's not so easy to get people's attention anymore, and it's not as easy to get them to give you $1, they weren't willing to do the work. And so guess what? They left. And I'm telling you, the fact that they left is fine, because we needed to purge out a lot of this artificial growth that happened during that period of time. And so you all are sitting here today in an interesting place. On one side of the coin, there's the challenges that we face. And here's the truth. It is way harder to build a business today in 2024 than it was in 2020. It is way harder. But it's actually really just normalized to how it's always been. See, there are a lot of people that came into this profession in 2020 and they have this total false sense of reality and these crazy unrealistic expectations of like what business is actually like. And so on one hand, we have this truth of the matter where it's harder. It's harder to get attention on social media today. It's harder to create value for what you do. It's not that people aren't spending money, they are, but they're much more discerning about where their money goes. They have much higher expectations around value and experience. It's harder to get someone's time and attention to do the work once they join your team. It's harder. You can't sugarcoat that. But that's just one side of the coin. See, I had an early mentor of mine. He taught me something. It always stuck with me. And as over the 20 years of my entrepreneurial career, going through a lot of ups and downs, I have found this to be absolutely true. Opportunity is a two-sided coin. And on one side of that coin are all the challenges and all the adversity that you face. And on the other side of that coin, in direct proportion, is all of the goals and the dreams and the things that you want to have. And so if we're looking at just one side of the coin and we see a lot of challenge, then what I know to be true is that means that there's actually an opportunity today for you to build your business that is so far greater than what most of you have ever seen in your career. But here's what has to change. Almost everything. You have to fundamentally change the way that you create content. You have to change the way you're having conversations with people. You have to change the way that you are working with your customers. You have to change the way that you are leading your team. You have to make wholesale changes in the way that you approach your business. Otherwise, you're going to continue to struggle. The problem most people have that I see in this profession is they are still trying to sell and market like it's 2020, not realizing that those strategies don't work anymore. They are too transactional in their approach to the way that they grow their business. So tonight I'm going to be teaching you one piece of this puzzle that we call being transformational. And we're going to talk about social media. I'm going to share with you tonight two very simple concepts, but I think these are, to me, these are two of the most important things that you must start doing differently when it comes to social media. Before I get into those two things, though, I want to just take a moment and I'd love to hear from you. When it comes to social media, what do you find to be your greatest challenge today? Do me a favor and drop that into the chat for me. When it comes to social media, what do you find to be your greatest challenge today? Okay. Tori says lives. Joey says showing up as a leader. Kara says getting engagement. I see Krista says showing my face. Rachel, content being seen, engagement, being vulnerable. Okay, so these are pretty consistently the ones that we see most of the time. And so we're talking about, we see lots of engagement. So like, how do we get attention? How many of you struggle with getting attention and getting people to interact or engage with your content today? Give me just a quick show of hands. Let me know if that's something. Okay, awesome. How many of you also struggle with the idea of having your content be more focused on you and not just the products that you sell, right? Being a little bit more authentic, vulnerable. This is a big challenge as well. Okay, cool. So those are two things we're definitely going to help you with tonight. Here's where I'd like to start though. If I could give just one piece of advice, like if somebody said to me, Bob, what's your number one tip to win on social media today? To me, it is very clear. Here's what it is. It's the understanding of the purpose of content. Content is marketing. Okay. Now we do two things in our business, really. We do two things on the front end of our business to help us grow our business. We market and we sell. Sales and marketing are the two core skills that help you grow your business, right? So if you think about it, content is marketing, conversations are selling. So here's the biggest piece of advice that I give to people today. You don't sell your product in your content. You share your product in your content. You sell your products in your conversations. Selling is about your product. Marketing is about your prospect. So let's unpack that for you. What it means at a very basic level is this. If you want to win on social media today, number one, you have to know who you're looking for. Who are you? You market to a specific person. You sell to everyone. You market to a specific person. So unless you know, number one, who it is you're looking to attract to your business, the problems that they have that would make them a good prospect for you, and the things that they're looking for, and you're not weaving that in to your content every time you talk about your products, you're not in your mind speaking to a specific person, then your marketing and your content is going to really be challenged from this point moving forward. Because here's the truth is we are, I heard it said this way the other day. I think it's so true. We are in a social media recession right now. Social media has fundamentally changed over the last 2 to 3 years. A lot of people will tell you traditional social media is dying. I don't think they're totally off. It doesn't mean that social media still isn't the number one tool for your business. But what you have to recognize is this, is we are at an all-time high with supply. There has never been more people trying to market and sell products on social media. And we are at an all-time low for demand. People are not using social media the same way that they used to. Engagement rates are historically low. And so the problem is attention. And how do we make ourselves look different? Well, here's the first way. Now, you have an advantage in this sense. You have a differentiated product, right? You have a very specialized niche product in the sense of an overall marketplace, not niche in the sense that there are tons and tons of pet owners out there, but there's not a lot of other competing messages in this particular space, although there are plenty of competing brands when it comes to the types of products that you sell. So that's important to recognize, because to me, what you're really competing for is you're competing for consumers' attention with all the other different types of products that are out there that are making any kind of a claim anywhere near similar to yours. So here's the first step. When you talk about your products, you should not be pitching and selling people to buy. When you're selling in your content, we like to call it making the ask. If you are making the ask in your content, and what does that look like? Well, including your link to your unique shopping link, constantly saying, hey, if you're interested in buying, let me know. Here's the thing. You should, like, when you're trying to actually make the ask or ask people to buy or join you in content, it's the number one thing that's holding you back today. Here's why. It triggers people's sales resistance. And when someone feels like they're being, every single one of us experiences this every day. We have this natural human reaction that when we feel like we're being sold, we emotionally shut down, right? The old adage, the old example, and this is like, it's funny, I date myself a little bit. This is not even like a good example because I feel like people don't even go to retail stores anymore. But it's like when you used to walk into the retail store and the salesperson would come up to you and they would say, what would they say? Can I help you? And then what do we always say? We just react. And what do we say? No, thank you, right? Just looking. Now, how many of you ever did that? Like, I don't know, but like I would do that and I would feel so stupid. I'm like, why did you say I need help? Like, I actually need help. And why? And now you feel stupid because I'm like, I can't then go back to them and be like, oh, I did need help. So I just leave the store and I don't get what I want to get. But this is what we do. We have this natural, like, gut reaction to feeling like we're being sold. I experienced this early on in my business and I didn't realize what was happening. I went to all my family and friends. I was so excited about this product that I was selling. I thought every single person and their mother was going to do it. And so I started these conversations with them and I'm just verbally vomiting all the details of my products, how great it is all over them. And it's like every single person is like, not interested, not interested. And I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, they are treating me like I'm some random salesperson that they've never met. I'm your friend. I'm your family member. Here's what I didn't recognize at the time. I was acting like every other salesperson that they had ever met. So all they were doing was just reacting to me the same way. This is what's happening in your content. If you're trying to promote and sell, you're turning people away. So does that mean that you can't talk about your products? Absolutely not. You must be talking about your products in your content. Here's the nuance. Share the product in the content. Don't sell the product. Here's a simple way to think about it. So you want to make a post, you want to talk about one of your products, whatever. Ask yourself this question. Imagine somebody that's following you, that's interested in what you have to offer. So they're interested in pets. They're interested as a pet owner. They're interested in, trying to, just provide a safer environment for their pet, whatever. They're a pet owner, they're a pet professional, whatever it is. And they're following you because they like you. They relate to you. Imagine posting something and that person has no interest whatsoever to buy from you. They're just not at a place where they're ready to buy, which describes 99.9% of the people that are following you today. Would they get any value out of the post you're about to make? And if the answer is no, meaning the entire purpose of the post is to just let everybody know about the great sale that you just launched, and here's the deal, and here's my link, let me know. Don't post that. Don't post it. Figure out how to make the content valuable. So let's take that as an example. Let's use that as a real life example. Let's say your company is running some sort of a promotion for a particular product that you love, right? And so how could we share that in a way that isn't totally transactional? Okay, apparently I hit the nail on the head. Trisha says we've got a sale, starts tomorrow. Okay, well, let's play this game for real. Trisha, unmute. Tell me about the product.
Okay, so it's our 10-year anniversary. So it's 10 deals for 10 days. And you get these 10 deals at 25% off, which they've never done. These great, like some of our best sellers, 25% off. So immediately you want to go like, hey, no, we got these 10 deals and post it all. And here's my link and let's shop. So this couldn't be better timing.
So you're going to have a new product each day for 10 days.
Actually, we just pump it all out tomorrow.
Okay, so you got 10 products
and
it's a 10-day sale.
10-day sale. Yep.
All right. So I think I just gave all of you your marketing plan. So what I would do is I now have 10 days worth of content. So what I would do personally is I would choose, and maybe it doesn't fit perfectly where it's 10, but I would ask myself, okay, I got these 10 products. Could you give me an example of maybe 2 of them?
Yeah, one of them is, Core 4. Let's go with Core 4. It's or raw freeze-dried food, our raw freeze-dried food. Let's do those 2, Core 4 and raw freeze-dried dog food and cat food.
Okay, perfect. And so one day, what's your hero product? What's like the most popular product? Is that Core 4?
Core 4 is a great because it covers so many issues. So I love to discuss that one because it's such a great, like we can address so many things with these 4 core products, especially if their pet's dealing with something.
So it's a package. A package of products.
Package deal. And normally,
what's one of the biggest problems that it addresses?
Probably. Team, help me out. What would you say? Probably allergies would be number 1.
Pet allergies.
Pet allergies.
Got it. And so is
yeah.
pet allergy. So I would imagine this will be a valuable exercise for us to go through because maybe we can give you something to take out of here. So is the issue with pet allergies, is it that a lot of pet owners don't realize their pets have them?
I think it's more of they have tried everything and don't know what to do.
Okay.
I think that's part of it. I think part of it is they don't, it could be too that they're licking paws and they don't realize like that's not a thing. Your pet shouldn't be excessively licking their paws or chewing at their feet. So,
okay. So we got good stuff now. So now we're thinking of, okay, we're taking this Core 4 product package. We're addressing the problem of pet allergies. So one of the ways that you make your content more transformational is you always lead with problem solving. So you ask yourself, what's the problem that I'm looking to speak to related to this product? And, there might be multiple problems with products. There's no one right thing. Just pick one. Now, what Trissa just gave me is she just gave me 2 different people that we could talk to. She gave me person A, who already knows about her pet allergy and has tried everything under the sun and nothing has seemed to work. Right? Maybe she's gotten to the point where she's kind of lost hope, like there isn't anything out there, right? That's person A. And then we talked about person B that might, like, maybe the dog is having, or the pet is having issues, and he or she doesn't even understand that it's stemming from allergies. And so so this is actually a really good example because it's really important to have a specific person in mind when you're actually writing or creating the post, because the problem can be defined 2 very different ways. So do you see this here? We've got pet allergy defined 2 very different ways. This pet owner B hasn't even started the process because they don't even realize that the allergies are a thing yet, versus pet owner A that's like at the end of the road, has tried everything. So here's what I would do with the Core 4. If I knew that I was really speaking to person number A, I would lead the post and I might say something like this. So I know a lot of you may be at the point, I'm just going to talk this out loud. And I know a lot of you might be at the point where you've completely given up hope at finding a solution for your pet's allergies. You've tried everything, nothing has worked. I know what that feels like. Maybe you have a story where you can relate to that. So that's what it looks like to lead with problem solving. The problem is the hook of the post. This is what most people do. Most people lead with product information. That's being transactional. So if you look at their posts, the very first thing they're talking about is, here's why the Core 4 is amazing, because it's got this thing and it'll do this and that. That's leading with product information. That is way less effective. Here's why. Same reason we talked about earlier. It triggers people's sales resistance. Now, I get it. You think your products are the best in the world, and they may very well be. But the problem is that doesn't mean anything to your prospect yet. Because what you're saying to them looks and sounds very similar to what the next person is saying to them. I know, but our products are the best because of this. But our products are the best because of this. At this point, it's white noise for us. You want to know what people are looking for? They're looking for someone that they trust enough to think maybe this person could help me. See, here's where a lot of people don't understand that the real value of your business doesn't come from your products. It comes from you. You are the number one driver of value in your business. Your business isn't defined by the products that you sell. It's defined by the person that you serve. See, in your marketing, you must be thinking about your prospect. Why is this product important to them? What are they struggling with that I know that they need to hear how this thing can? So what we're doing is we're just positioning our products in a different order. So here's what I would do is I would take the 10 products that are going to be in this promotion, and I would ask myself for each one of those 10 things, what's the problem we're looking to address here? And then so you can do this one of two ways. I could just say, hey, listen, if you find yourself in this place where you've given up hope, I might have a solution for you. And it's called the Core 4. And here's how it's been life-changing to my pet or to one of my clients' pets. If you're interested in, now watch what I'm about to do here. If you're interested in getting some information, drop a yes and let me know. So that's called a call to action. The purpose of content is to create leads for you to sell to. So all we're looking to do in our content is get somebody to interact with the post. It might be a comment, it might be a like. If you can get someone to interact with your post, they are what we call an engaged lead. You should be messaging every single person that likes and comments any post that you make that has anything to do with your products or how you help people. Now, here's the challenge most of you have. You're not getting engagement and interactions. Here's why. Because you're too transactional. You're just promoting and selling. You're just talking about your product. Like social media, you can't hide. If you're not getting likes and comments, you have an ineffective content strategy. People are telling you. Now you might say, oh, it's the algorithm. It's not the algorithm. The algorithm is perfectly designed to serve up the content that people find most valuable. And so if the algorithm is not in your favor, it means your content isn't valuable. That is a really hard thing for some of us to hear. But trust me when I tell you, the truth will set you free. Because here's what should be encouraging. There is not a single one of you in here that by just making a couple of simple tweaks can almost instantaneously start to see better results. So let me give you another tip. Let's continue down this same path. This will be much more valuable. By the way, is this valuable to you for us to kind of do this? Okay. I feel like this will be much better than me just kind of randomly spewing concepts at you. So here's the next thing that I would do. So one of the big mistakes that people make is this, is they use photoshopped images, Canva, right? The company will come out with a promotional image and thousands of people from that company will use said image, or your upline will create the image, and with good intentions, by the way, right? And by the way, this is stuff that worked fine for many years. It doesn't work anymore today. Matter of fact, what a lot of people don't realize is if you use the same image, the algorithm will actually penalize you. Because if there are too many people using the exact same image, the algorithm actually will not show those images to as many people. Like, that's the first thing. But here's the second thing is photoshopped images do not do well because they're not authentic to the platform. They look like an advertisement. So what I would do is this, is if, let's just say or I think Trish mentioned the freeze-dried food, whatever the product is, if all you did different, like you could have 2 identical posts, even if you did it not great, the post, like what you write, if in post A, you have the photoshopped image all nice, and I get it, you like it because it's like on brand for you, and it's real pretty, and it's got your cut. Like, I get a kick out of people, but I don't want to screw up my Instagram feed. I'm like, are you stuck in 2019? I'm like, what your Instagram feed looks like does not matter anymore. People actually, here's what's interesting. They've done research on this. We trust people less that have perfectly manicured looking feeds. This is research that's actually been done. We trust you less if you look perfect, because we have been led astray by so many of these quote unquote influencers that just got paid because they had big followings. That's not what people are looking for today. They want authentic, they want real, they want organic. They don't want polished and pretty. They want somebody that's relatable to them. And so here's what you do. Just take a selfie of you holding the product in your hand and smiling. And that photo will do 10 times better than your beautiful photoshopped or Canva image that you spent an hour creating. It will do better 10 out of 10 times. Here's, like, it's little things. There's value in that because I get a chance to connect with you. It's a human element. Now I'm going to tell you what I would do, because I know my ideal customer. My ideal customer is a parent, and they've got children, and they are struggling with just trying to manage a life where they have a business and they have kids and maybe they have a job, and they want their life to look perfect on social media, but it's not possible because of where they are in their life. And so here's what I would do to connect with that person. I would have my 2 boys, and we would have the product, and I would have my wife do a little mini photo shoot, right? And any of you that have small kids, you can relate to this. We are thanking God if on Christmas we get one photo where all 4 of us are looking at the camera at the same time. I mean, and we're not even at the point where I don't even care if they're smiling anymore. Like, okay, they're all and it's like they're looking in the general direction of the camera. That's the one that's going in the frame. Like, that's the season of life that we're in. So here's what I would do. I would have her take pictures. Now, normally I'm yelling at my boys to sit still, like holding them down. I would just let them go wild. And I would let the younger one do what he always does. He puts the older one in a headlock, and then they start fighting. And I would just let them do it on my lap. And I would take a bunch of pictures, and I would post the worst picture. I would post on my feed the picture of my one son headlocking the other while I'm kind of screaming, and you can just kind of see the product, but it's starting to fall. I would post that picture. And many of you are laughing already, and you don't even see that picture. You want to know why I would post it? Because it's relatable. That's what we have to be today on social media. We just have to be relatable. Now, listen, it doesn't even take like creativity. You just have to be you. You just have to have the courage to be you and put yourself out there. Because the truth of the matter is most people hide behind their products because it's easy for them to talk about their products. It's just not effective. You have to be present in your social media. People will buy you before they buy from you. And so we have to learn how to start positioning ourselves. And here's the thing you have to realize is different is better than better. You want to know something that's really crazy? The number one fitness influencer in the world today is a 76-year-old woman that started working out 3 years ago. She is the number one fastest growing online fitness influencer. And you want to know why? Because she is who she is. And she's different. And there's not a lot of people out there that look like her that are actually have the courage to put themselves out there and try to serve people. And so like, that's what we do with our content, is if we just show up from a place and we think about content is not something that helps us make a sale, that content is a chance for us to impact and serve another human being. And through doing that, we build trust. And it is those relationships that actually translate into selling. And most of your selling will happen in private conversations anyway. If you really lean into doing what I'm doing, if you think about how can I make this post valuable? You know, maybe there's a product, maybe there's some sort of, I'm sure y'all have some sort of a shampoo or something, right? To make your dogs, you know, your pet stuff look real. How about in that post for that particular thing? How about you go live? And how about the whole purpose of the video is I'm going to share with you 3 tips to keep your pet's coat, I don't even, whatever you call it, to keep your pet's coat looking beautiful. These are 3 things that barely anybody knows. And you get on, you go live and you say, look, here's number 1, here's number 2, here's the 3rd tip. The 3rd tip is you actually need a good quality shampoo. And here's the reason why most shampoos are junk. And so if you don't have a great quality shampoo and you're looking for one, here's one that I love. Here's why I love it. And if you're interested and you think you might want to try this one, shoot me a message or leave me a comment and I'm happy to have a conversation with you. That's what it looks like. Inside of that context, like if you're going live, you could sell in that video. Because the actual selling and promoting is only one small piece of the overall big picture of what you do. That is, by the way, why I love lives so much. Lives are the single best place to sell. Lives are the most, when it comes, the only exception to the rule is you can sell in a live, but I call it conversational selling. Meaning that I'm not doing the live to sell. I'm going live because I want to teach something or I want to share a story or I want to give to my audience. And when they're on the live with me, interacting with me, asking me questions, that's my opportunity to sell. It's crazy to me, like people that do go live. So here's how you get viewers. I love this question by Cindy. You do it consistently and you focus on what we're talking about. You actually show up and you speak to a specific person. I'll give you this is a really powerful example. So we have a client of ours. She sells makeup. She's in a makeup company and she's going live and she's literally going live like 3-4 times a week. She's like, Bob, I can't get any traction. I show up, I do my makeup tutorials, right? She's just emulating what she sees everybody else doing. She goes, I just can't get any traction. And I'm like, okay. So I watched a couple of her lives and I'm like, it wasn't real clear to me. I'm like, who are you actually looking to sell to? We call it your ideal person. Who are you actually looking to work with? She thought about it and she goes, well, I mean, I guess women like me, right? She was 65. She said, and I said, why? She goes, well, makeup for me is different. I go, and so I go, well, what about this? What if we just speak to women over 60? What if every time you go live, you say, hey, here's my name, here's what I do. I give, and so all she did was at the beginning of every one of her videos, she goes, and I don't even remember exactly what it was, but I give makeup tips and tricks for women that are over 60. And she spoke to that woman every single time she went live. And you want to know what happened? Within a year, her following blew up. Like crazy blew up. Because what happened is the fifth, and here's what's interesting, because she goes, not all the women that follow me are 60 plus. She goes, I see a lot of 40 and 50, but you want to know what? It's that woman that's looking for somebody that when she sees her feels like that's more relatable to me. And so when she started speaking to a specific person, she started getting the attention of the kind of people that she wanted. And so my part of what I want you to think about is, what does that look like for you? Your ideal person is just like you. Now, I'm gonna piggyback off of a conversation that Mike and Kathy and I had, because I do want to give you some direction here, because I think this will be really helpful for you. I want to just take a couple of minutes sharing this with you, and then I'd love to leave just a couple of minutes where maybe we can do some questions too as well. But when you're thinking about who you're talking to, Mike and Kathy and I were on a coaching call together last week, prepping for this call. I'm so glad that we did this, because I saw a big opportunity for all of you. I think one of the biggest reasons why many of you are being challenged with growing your business is because you're thinking too narrow in who you actually are looking to serve. I think, and I would suspect this is a company-wide issue for many of you. The pet professional marketplace is an obvious place for most of you to look, right? I mean, it feels like a natural fit. And, you know, I'm sure there are many of you that are here as pet professionals, as Mike and Kathy are. And to not target that group of people doesn't make sense, right? But here's where I think is the far bigger opportunity for you. Non-pet professionals and just pet owners. See, part of the limitations of you actually growing your following and growing your team is you're not doing a good enough job speaking to your ideal person that is not a pet professional, but is just a pet lover, but possesses all of the characteristics and all of the character traits that would make someone a great fit for your business. There is such an exponentially larger market in that is largely untapped, I would guess, because it requires a higher level of selling. It requires more skill. If you're talking to a pet professional, it's probably not that hard of a sale to explain to them how this product could make sense in their business. But guess what? If you just have a pet lover, let's say you're talking to a working mom that has a dog that she loves, but is stuck in a job that she's not passionate about anymore. And she's not even necessarily looking for anything else, but she's reached a point in her life where she has no more purpose and she's tired of feeling that lack of passion. It takes a lot more skill to navigate that conversation, to get that woman to look at what you do with excitement and enthusiasm. But what I am telling you is moving forward, there's a far greater opportunity for you to do that. There are millions of people in this world today that are living in great economic uncertainty, that are hurting, that are looking for something. So here's your opportunity. Here's what I want you to think about. I don't want you to just think about the customer. We like to say, start with the end in mind. I want you to think about your ideal person that you'd love to recruit to your team, somebody that would be a great leader. What are all the things that you're looking for? And then think about that person as a pet owner and sell to that person. Speak to that person's problem. So let's tie this together. Let's go back to the original point. Let's use that example of the core four. And let's take that problem of pet allergies. Well, if I could envision the kind of, for me, I always wanted to recruit busy professional type people. That was just my target person. Was I always wanted to recruit. I'll just do this through my lens right now. I specifically targeted other men that were in, very busy professional type people. And the problem as it pertained to the business is that they were just at a place where they were kind of tapped out. They knew that they weren't going to get to where they wanted to go. But if I thought about that person as a pet owner, I would imagine that his problem is probably he has no clue that his pet has an allergy problem. And so I might just say, look, you're struggling with these issues with your pet. And maybe you suspect that it might be allergies, but here's the truth of the matter. You don't have the time to do the research to find out if that is it or find out the things that you need to do, because you barely have enough energy when you get home from the end of the day to be able to just sit down and enjoy a little bit of time with your pet. And so here's what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to give you some tips and advice to help you navigate this situation. I want to give you two things to look for in your pet that can help you diagnose that. So what I'm doing is I'm speaking specifically to that exact person's issues. You need to figure out what that is for you. And when you're writing the post, when you're writing the post for these 10 days, think about, could I give a tip? Could I give a piece of advice? But when I'm thinking about the problem, let me imagine that I'm actually writing this post for that person. Like, write specifically to them, speak specifically to them. This is what is required in marketing. You sell to everyone, you market to a specific person. And then here's what happens over time. It's a very predictable formula. eventually these people that you want to work with, they start magically showing up in your feed and commenting on your stuff. Most of you already know them. Here's what's interesting. They're in your customer base today. Look, this is a totally different training for a totally different day, but I'll leave you with this and then we can open it up and take a couple questions. There's more opportunity and more money for almost every single one of you right now in your existing base of customers. There's way more money and opportunity in your existing base of customers than there is in you getting new customers. That includes current and past customers. Learning how to do a better job of selling and nurturing relationships will open up so many opportunities to you in your business. We spend so much time and effort looking for the next person we can sell to, not understanding that it's 14 times harder to get a new customer than it is to sell to one that already bought from you. And if we can just focus a little bit more time on actually being more intentional and purposeful around your actual conversations and the way you work with your customers, it'll have a huge impact on your business. So let's take some time for some questions here. I got about 6 minutes, Trish. So I don't know if you have specific questions that you'd like for me to answer, or if we want to just kind of cherry pick some here.
Yeah, I mean, I would say let's pop some in the chat, but Todd has one right out of the gate. I'm new, and I think we have a few new people on today. I'm new. How do I get those new customers and establish my customer base? Maybe we could start there, but if there's other questions, pop them in the chat.
Awesome. Todd asked that question. Todd, can you unmute for a sec?
Unmute.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm trying to find you in my screen here. You there, Todd?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. All right. I don't need to see you. I can hear you. So how new are you?
New-ish, a few months. We got involved right before the holidays.
Okay. Awesome. So where I would start is where every one of you should start. Who do you know that owns a pet?
Yeah.
You start with people you know.
Sure.
Have you reached out to people you know that have pets?
We have. I think part of the challenge is maybe we gravitate. We try to tell our story, and Pottery has been really amazing in trying to articulate that, right? Not to be
Todd, let me ask you this. How would you reach out to me if you, let's walk through a real life scenario here. If you knew that I had a pet and you wanted to share Pottery with me, how would you contact me?
I might ask if there's any issues that you have with your pets that you'd like to address.
Would you message me on Facebook? Would you call me? Would you text me?
All those are possible.
Okay. What would be your preferred way?
I like texting.
Okay. So you would text me. What would the initial first text look like that you would send to me?
I might say something to the effect of, I know you're a pet owner, and I've just partnered with a great company who has some really good products that address specific needs that pet owners might have. If you got any concerns with any issues you might have with your pet, I'm here to help you.
Okay. How many of those messages do you think you've sent in the couple of months that you've been here?
Hard to say because we've been a little disconnected recently, but we like to reconnect. That's why we're here.
Okay. You've sent more than a handful.
Started out the gate real strong. Didn't get a lot of jets, so to speak.
Okay. And how have you been with getting customers? Have you had success getting customers?
Not too much. We'd like to change that.
Well, Todd, I am gonna save you a lot of time and trouble because I'm gonna tell you why. So here's the good news, and I want everybody to remember this. It's never too late to be transformational. So Todd, what you just said to me is the literal definition of a transactional conversation.
Okay.
You led right out of the gate with your product information, pitching them and selling them on what you were doing, and you triggered their sales resistance the second they started reading that message.
Cool.
I would guess you probably get not responses or very just, thanks for reaching out. Probably lots of that, right?
Fair enough.
That's why.
Okay.
So the better way to do it would be twofold. Number one, you have to create content. You know, I had somebody ask me, you know, do I have to be on social media? I go, you don't have to be on social media today, but you're never going to build a big business if you're not.
Okay.
And maybe your goal is not to build a big business, but if you really want to help people with your products, you're going to severely limit the amount of people you can help if you're not on social media. So you have to be sharing your experience with the products, like just sharing the experience, like, you know, just saying, hey, listen, we tried this product and here's what it did for our pet. Just sharing that testimonial without trying to promote or sell will go a very long way with people. There, you know, I'll give every one of you, when we're done here, I want you to Google a term. It's called user generated content, UGC for short. User generated content is the biggest buzzword in social media marketing today. Every single company and brand is dying to figure out, how do we get our customers, people that are actually using the content, how do we get our customers to talk about our products on social media? Because it is the number one way people want to find out about and buy new products. They want to see product recommendations from people they know, like, and trust. Now, this should play perfectly into the hands of our profession, but here's where we get it wrong. We're constantly selling and promoting in the content, and we're diminishing the value of the actual recommendation. And so, Todd, what I would love to see you do is just start maybe creating a couple of posts and sharing some experience, because it's way easier to start a conversation with somebody that has already interacted or engaged with your content. And even if they don't interact or engage with it, people will see it. People will absolutely see it. So when you are reaching out to them, it's less of a totally cold reach out in terms of like not solicited, and it'll be way easier for you. So that would be my first advice. I want to make sure that you're creating some content that can make this easier for you. But the next time you have a conversation, here's what it should look like. Let's take that same exact scenario. Todd, why did you start using the products?
We heard about the quality of them. We tried them, you know, we're kind of a retread, so to speak.
This is Todd's wife, Christina. So originally I was a pet pro, and we had heard about Paw Tree and we used it on our dogs, and we saw a benefit that they seemed more energetic, they had healthier coats, so on and so forth. And then at some point I got ill and I stopped selling. Later, Todd became a pet pro. So he came to it because of the same love that we both had for how healthy it seemed to make our pets and how happy they were.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. So what I would do is I would be pinpointing. Now, listen, we're leading with product. Like, y'all should always be, I mean, if you're talking to a pet pro, maybe a little different, but if you're talking to a pet owner, always leading product, because that's going to be the easier in. People love talking about their pets. So starting a conversation with somebody should be the easiest thing in the world for you to do. You just start asking them questions about their pet, and they're going to love to talk about you. But when you're navigating a conversation about their pet, you start asking what we call problem questions.
Okay.
So if you know that one of the biggest problems that a lot of pets have that you help address is, let's just say, I'm just going to use this as an example. It might be the dumbest example in the world, but let's just say there's, pet dandruff, whatever. And so you start learning how to speak to those problems in your content, but you learn how to start asking questions in a conversation. I might be talking to Trisha about her pet and say, hey, I see you've got a dog and it's got long hair. Hey, question, do you struggle with, does he have dandruff? Do you struggle with that? Because my dog has a heck of time with that. And so you ask a question that would lead the conversation in a direction that there's a pretty good chance there's probably going to be some sort of and so they might, oh my God, it's one of the worst problems. Now here's the thing. Now we're playing ball, because my job is to find problems. You are a paid problem finder. You find problems. And so Todd, what I would want you to do next time, if you just went into that conversation and if you just said, hey, so, I got introduced, I know you've got Susie, the dog, and I just actually found out about a product for Jesse, my dog. He's really been struggling with pet dandruff, and I found this product that's really been helpful for him. And I'd love to actually share it with you if you'd be interested. Now, that might not sound very different, but I'm telling you, people will receive it very different, because what I did there is I led with problem solving, not product information. And so that's just a little thing to do different. Okay, I do want to answer this question. We've got one other question there. So Todd, I wish I could spend a little bit more time with you. Here's what I want you to do. I want to make sure you connect with me on my podcast, because you're going to find a lot of follow-up training to what I just said to be able to help you kind of flesh out what that's going to actually look like for you. So thanks for the question.
We'll do that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. I want to address this. This is going to actually be a simple answer. Let me see who originally asked it. Cindy asked, how do we deal with or handle people who are against direct sales? I seem to know a lot. So Cindy, two ways I answer this question. Number one, I don't deal with people that are negative towards direct sales. It is the biggest waste of your breath to try to justify to those people why it is legitimate or why it is good. Just like, people say, well, how do I get people want to push back on my product? Well, you're not looking for people that want to push back on your product. You are looking for people that are open or already looking for what you have, open to hearing about what you have. So, but I'm going to say something else. The being against direct sales is the bigger byproduct of that is your approach. You're too transactional and you trigger that. There is a very unique form of sales resistance for our profession because so many of us have been pitched and we've had negative interactions with people that just have done it completely wrong. I used to get that objection all the time when I was transactional and I was leading with the company and the product information and the opportunity. When I learned how to be more transformational and I led with problem solving and helping, and selling for me was not even about talking about my thing. It was about understanding my prospect and what they were struggling with and how I could help them. I barely ever got it again. I got it all the time when I started in my career. I'm telling you, in years, I couldn't count on one hand the amount of times that I got that objection because I was talking to people and interacting with them different. Somebody says, I'm not a salesperson. You're being transactional. Somebody says, I don't have the time. You're being transactional. Almost every single objection that we get in this profession is it's sales resistance to feeling like we're being pitched and sold. And so this transformational approach, it will have so many benefits to you in your business. Now, look, I know for a lot of you, we're just like, this is our first time hanging out together. And so maybe your head is probably spinning right now. And you're like, I don't even know what the heck I'm going to do with this information, but I know I'm all screwed up and I got to do something different. So here's what I want you to do. I want us to stay connected. Okay. Trisha, could I just really quickly, could I share some information for a workshop?
Yes, please. In fact, I was gonna pop in the chat. So you do it and we'll post where they can find you on Instagram, on your podcast.
So I'm going to give, maybe you could put this link in there for me, Trisha. So I'm going to give a link to all of you. We're hosting this completely free workshop. We're hosting on Thursday at noon Eastern. Now, you may or may not be able to make that particular time, but it doesn't matter. As long as you register, you'll get a replay. But we're hosting a workshop on Thursday that is going to teach you an entire business plan for your business based off of what I've started to introduce you tonight, which is being transformational. I'm going to teach you there are 9 different things that you really need to be thinking about doing differently in your business this year if you want to win. And what we're going to do is it's a working session. It's just, if you go to yourvirtualupline.com/8K months, all one word, the number 8K months. yourvirtualupline.com/8K months. Thank you for that, Trisha. So if you go register there, completely free, you're going to get a workbook that you'll print up on the thank you page. You'll have that ready for the workshop, whether you watch it recording or live. We are going to create a business plan for you. You're actually going to leave this workshop having created something where we're going to show you the exact, like how these different pieces fit together. If you got value out of tonight and you're interested in finding out what the first step might look like for you to do this differently in 2024, that would be the best place for you to get connected. So Trisha, thank you for having me. Kathy and Mike, thank you so much for facilitating this and setting this up. I hope you guys got some value out of the session.
Oh man, it was so great. And thank you, Joey, for putting the proper hyperlink. We can just click right on that. So I am so grateful. Mike and Kathy, can we tell Mike and Kathy thank you as well? Because they could have used this just for their team. And they said, hey, we want all of Pottery to win. How do we love that as our culture? I love it. I'm very grateful for them opening this up to many people. So thank you, Mike and Kathy. But Bob, this was so great. We have a boot camp happening this week. And so much of what we were talking about in boot camp is how to nourish your network, how to provide value, how to, reach out to people, what to post. So this could not be better timed. I just think it's kind of serendipitous how it all works out. So thank you. Thank you.
Well,
so
I'm super happy to hear that. So great hanging out with you all tonight.
Yeah,
have a good night.
You too.
Hope
You
to see
too.
you on
We'll
Thursday
link
at the workshop.
Yeah, we'll make sure we link everything to your podcast and everything too. So thanks again for
Perfect.
your time. We so appreciate
Okay.
it. Team, have a
Awesome.
good
See
night.
you, everybody.
So
See
much.
ya. Bye, you guys.
Was that fabulous or what?
That was so
He's
great.
amazing, isn't he?
So
I
good.
love him.
So
Yeah.
good. I sent them a DM during the meeting. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, this couldn't be better.
So timely.
So timely. So thank you again.
He is amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
And I will have a replay. I've had a lot of people already ask me, is there a replay available? We will post it in the leader chat. So leaders, be sure you grab that by tomorrow. I'll have it by tomorrow. You can share it with your teams, a YouTube link, but we are just super grateful again. Louder Milks. Thank you. Thank you. And for those watching on Facebook too, the links are in there as well. I dropped those in Facebook. So thanks you guys. Yeah. Bullseye. I love it, Maria. Bullseye. Take care, everyone. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.